Hello and welcome back to the In Your Mind podcast. You're with Kira and today Bella.
Hello.
So we're currently on a trip to Japan and we've spent 2 weeks here, around about, nearly 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We've spent some time in Tokyo and then we went to... Where did we go after Tokyo? We went to Hakuba
Hakuba.
and then Nozawa Onsen. Oh no, then Myoko. Nozawa Onsen.
Sorry, I'm a bit sick.
And then Tokyo again. Yeah, Nozawa.
And then Tokyo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at the moment we're in Tokyo and it's our last day here. And we've kind of just been reflecting on like what is different in the Japanese culture and what we've enjoyed.
Yeah.
And then also like what has been unexpected or the things that we've really cherished while being here that we kind of want to bring back. So today we're going to like talk about all of that and the things that we've found really interesting while being here. So just to kind of like start us off, what have you really enjoyed in Japan?
I feel like it's tricky because we've been to like so many places that have been so different
Yeah.
that like the enjoyment in like even just getting off the plane and getting out, I was like, whoa. Like my mind was kind of like in scrambles a bit. I was like, this is huge. Like even on the plane before we landed, just looking down, like seeing Mount Fuji
Yeah.
and seeing like how big the city was, I was like, whoa. Because I feel like Sydney, like you, between Circular Quay and like Redfern, I would say, doesn't take that long on a train at all. But like here it goes and goes and goes.
On the trains?
Yeah. Like I feel like our city is so small compared to Tokyo. Like it's just a different scale.
And then everything has to be like, is like more efficient too. Like the trains that we've been on have been like bullet trains, right? So you're like seeing so much more in less time.
Yeah. Sometimes things don't like fully sink in my head. Like I feel like I've not realised that I'm actually here a little bit.
Yeah.
Like it's felt like a little bit like a dream-like state,
Yeah.
I guess. But then all of life is a little bit like...
Yeah.
You just kind of have to be like, I'm a human.
Yes. Cool. Touch. Yes.
It also helps that like you have people around you that are similar. Like our families here.
Yeah.
Like that helps ground and have some commonality.
Totally. I wonder what it would be like if you were a solo traveller. Like if it would feel more dreamlike, because really you've got no one to like be like to share the experience and be like, oh, remember this.
Yeah.
And it kind of, when you say, oh, remember this, or what part did you like, it like solidates the fact that it's like your actual reality a little bit.
Yeah, I find that part funny. But I feel like I didn't really answer your question.
Yeah, so
like
what did you enjoy?
I've enjoyed just experiencing something different.
Yeah.
I guess. Like, I feel like you always have that sort of, again, I'm going to go off on a huge tangent. But I feel like just seeing something that's different like allows you to enjoy your life back home and realise what you like of back home a lot more.
Yeah.
And I don't know where I was going.
You have something to compare it with.
Yeah.
It's like if you have your home life and then you've got this new like travel life embedded in a different culture like Japan.
Yeah.
You have something to compare and be like, oh, okay, that's something different. Do I like it or do I dislike it?
Yeah.
Or what do I kind of think about it?
Yeah.
And it's because you have a comparison that you can go enjoy or not enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like enjoy is like a hard thing to grasp for my head.
Yeah.
Like I've enjoyed so much like skiing. I love skiing.
Yeah.
But then like the food, yes, delicious. Ushi. Like that's been like the word of the trip.
Yeah.
After no, very bad.
Yeah. Yeah. We had this when we first arrived, and our flight was a little bit delayed. Well, we were a little bit delayed getting to the transport that was booked.
Not even. We weren't even that delayed.
Well, like like half an hour, like
Maybe.
after getting our bags and like
Yeah.
checking them and like all of that kind of stuff. We were late to our transport person that was like picking us up, and mum like didn't say anything in the whole transport, and basically what happened was the driver was asking for more money because we were a little bit late, and said that it'll be an extra $50 or something, like if we're like half an hour late.
They said they'd leave if we didn't get there within half an hour. And then Mum was like, what? And they said, oh, you can pay $50 more.
Yeah. So mum was like, okay, we'll just pay the $50 more. But actually she didn't voice that she was really angry about that to us until we were out of the transport, and she said to the driver, like, bad, very bad. I will leave bad review. And we just keep now like voicing that. Well, Bella like brought that up. And I think it's actually just been so funny.
But everyone's gotten really into it too.
Yeah.
Like if something's not going good, everyone's been like bad. Or if something's
bad.
really good, people are like good
review. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've been here with our mum and dad,
Yeah.
our uncle Toby, and then our other uncle Tom joined us for a bit, and then mum and dad's like friends were here for a bit, and then their kids were here for a bit. So it's been cool to have like all the different dynamics and to go to dinners with everybody
Yeah.
and experience something different from Australia that we were all used to.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that I was kind of scared about coming here was the naked bathing, the onsens.
That's something that I would never expect you to be scared of. You walk around the house naked.
Yeah, well, like by myself, I'm like totally comfortable
Yeah.
being naked. It's more like just I was scared that we'd have like 50 people all like naked and like crammed. And I was like, oh shit, like what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
But really, it's been very relaxing and not crowded, and everyone's like just very respectful, and no one's like looking at you and looking at your parts like really intensely. That's kind of what I was worried about, is being like inspected. But I've never felt inspected.
Yeah. No one even on the streets keeps eye level, I've noticed. A lot of people look slightly down.
Yeah, okay.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like when I'm like this, I feel like I'm being rude.
Yeah.
And I look down.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, in Sydney, when I'm like this, I feel like everyone else is like this, and I bring my eyes up more.
Yeah. That's interesting. I've noticed actually the older people keep more eye level, and it seems like the younger people are more down to the ground. But like, you remember on the corner when we got to Tokyo for the second time, there were like those older people on the streets there,
Yeah.
and they were very much looking at you in eye level
Yeah.
and like
True.
trying to perceive you. So I think it's kind of like an anxious behavior, because I look down when I'm nervous.
Right.
I don't keep eye level. So I was thinking maybe it's that, but also it's respect, because you could make someone feel uncomfortable just by like staring at them or something.
Yeah.
So a bit of both.
Yeah.
What did you find? How did you find the onsens?
A few years ago, one of your friends, they had been to Japan, and I just like remember like this like 2-minute conversation that I had with them,
Yeah.
and I think they'd been to Niseko or something. Mizawa.
Yeah.
And they were describing like the onsens or something, and they were just saying how it's so friendly, like outdoor in the snow, and you feel like a snow monkey or something, and like no one cares. And I remember thinking in that moment, I was probably very young, like earlier teens, being like, oh my god, I can't even imagine that, like being naked, like in front of people, and being like, oh my god, like imagine like feeling comfortable like that.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I've like not even cared. And like it's also brought out a lot of like body positivity, I feel like, and like you almost, because like it's been like only women in those situations, so you never feel like people are looking at you funny or like have other intentions other than just like everyone's just bathing and no one
relaxing.
cares.
It's fine. Yeah, totally. I think it's been interesting to see the different onsens too, and every onsen has had like a bit of a different environment. So the first one we went to was like a hotel, and it was our first experience of an onsen.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like looking around to like see like what you do.
Yeah.
And it took a while to just like, the uncomfortability wasn't really my body at that point. It was like, how do I be respectful of this culture because I know nothing about it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'd read stuff and heard of other people's input, but like when you're actually there and you're like, okay, like I don't want to be disrespectful right now. I'm using like these like sacred baths. Like, how do I go about it in a respectful manner?
Yeah.
And I kind of just like watched what the person in front of me did, and like, yeah, it was mainly that at the start that I got used to. And once I knew what you do, the uncomfortabilities like started to fade a little bit.
Yeah, I feel that.
Even like in Hakuba, one of the ladies that was bathing put like her arms and was kind of like sleeping in the onsen. And I looked at that and I was like, wow, okay, that looks good. Like that's what I'm gonna start like doing here. And that made me feel like really comfortable because you're in like a sleepy, like very relaxed position. And then now I've been doing that and it makes me feel more at ease. And then there's been like outdoor onsens and indoor ones. The outdoor ones have definitely been my favourite.
100%. Because it feels totally different.
Yeah, it feels totally different. And because the water's like 40, 45 degrees. So it's like hot. It's nice to have the cooling air above you. And just to be in an open environment is way more like comfortable too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's taken me a while to actually figure out what to do. Like even in the past like few days, now I feel like I actually have a routine of what to do. Like at the start I kind of just copied everyone. I'd heard that you really have to bathe, like soap yourself up twice.
Yeah.
Tie your hair up, that kind of thing. And I've noticed like over the course of like different hotels, they all kind of say things differently on the sheets, I would say, of like how to be respectful. And like you're not supposed to stand up and bathe. And I felt like I did that a few times. And then I was like, oh, I saw that on a sign. Because apparently it splashes other people.
Oh, okay.
It's more respectful to sit down.
Yeah.
And then even with like the head wrap things, how you're supposed to like put cold water over it and wrap your hair up. And like a few times I'd like dove in. And, like, you're not supposed to do that. No. You're not supposed to have your hair in there.
Yeah.
And after that was at a less traditional like hotel onsen.
Yeah.
But then when we were in Nozawa, it was like actually like sulfury smell, and there was some hair in the onsen and it doesn't get filtered. And I was like, I understand why you can't have your hair in here. Yeah. Because like when you're like picking hair out, you're like someone at a different hotel or like somewhere else has put their head under. Yeah. And now it's in this one, and that's a bit gross. And I was like, oh no, like I've done that. Yeah. But like you make mistakes.
Totally. You live and you learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so the onsens have been great. And even like there's been saunas at some of the onsens and this one as well, which I've really enjoyed. And it's just perfect after skiing and like skiing really hard and like your body's kind of sore, like we were sleeping on the floor at our last place, like your body just gets a bit...
Not on the floor, but like...
Well, yeah, we're sleeping on the floor. Sounds dramatic. No, we had like cushions and stuff. It wasn't like a mattress.
Bed situation.
Yeah. But I feel like my body's kind of been through it, so to have like the onsen and sauna, and to really like take that time to do like the self-care practice after working your body has been so nice. And another thing that I've really enjoyed is like every space is very like curated for like a relaxing experience, or very like thought out, basically. Like Bella was saying, like even the design and the placement of things is so carefully thought about when they're building or when they're creating a space. And it's more relaxing because of it. Like you notice like, oh, okay, wow, this is so convenient. Like you were saying about the light.
Yeah, like even they can probably see that in the corner.
Yeah.
Like even on the beds, like there's a bed over there and a bed here. And like even on the lights, they've separated the lights so that the furthest away from everyone.
The beds,
and then you have like dimming settings, and it's easy to turn on and off. Like if one person wanted to read their book, they could just like sit this way with their book and be able to read while the other person's not that affected by it.
That's been one thing. And then like the other thing is just like, yeah, the PowerPoints are always like in very convenient spaces.
Yeah.
The windows and the doors are all like roller, so it like doesn't use much space up, and they're like built into the houses.
Yeah.
And I like love that. I love the way that like the light comes through like the paper in the paper windows.
Yeah.
I think it makes it like very soft light.
Just like their usage of space.
Mm.
Like even when we were driving past, like on the train or driving past like different houses and stuff, I kept noticing how small the houses were in the country compared to what ours would be. Like they were probably like a small suburb kind of house.
Yeah.
Like 2 levels but quite narrow. And I was thinking like our country houses are very like spread and take up a lot of ground because there is that space.
Yeah.
Whereas like for them like everything's just better planned, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they don't spend that much time indoors, it seems. It's like mainly the house is very convenient.
Yeah.
But then like you leave.
The other thing is like the beds or all the seating, the couches, everything's low to the ground.
Yeah.
Which makes there be more spaces in all the rooms. So it feels like more spacious even if you're in like a tiny room. And
yeah, because your eyes go to everything being clear. Rather than, oh, there's a bed, table, this.
Yeah. And everything has a spot, like glasses and cups and...
Have a little mat underneath.
Yeah, everything has mats or is like got space around it, and there's no clutter. Like it's very like straight. Everything's like very streamlined, which has been so nice. Yeah.
Even on like cushioned seats, there's then like another little circle mat or something like where like you sit. On it.
Yeah. Is there anything that's been unexpected from this trip or from the culture at all?
I would say like maybe the juxtaposition between like the new and the old. I thought it would be more separate, but it's almost like a lot of the appliances and stuff are brand new, but the buildings seem older. And I thought that the traditional side would be like a traditional town, everything traditional, and then like a modern area, everything modern. But it's not so much the case. Like there's new and old things together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I do know what you mean. Yeah, you have like building shop fronts that look really old and traditional, and then next to it like a brand new looking hotel or something. Like it is very like contrasting.
Yeah.
And I guess like in Australia we have like heritage listed areas.
Yeah.
And it's kind of more confined to an area of like heritage, and then you have like new. So in that regard it seems a little bit more streamlined. It's kind of confusing to go from like old new.
Yeah.
It's like, how does this fit? Or part of the story is missing.
Yeah.
It feels like it's like, oh, okay, there's an old building here, I wonder where the rest of it is now, like how it's all built up around it.
Even like the area that we're in now is like a traditional area, and there's these huge temple bits, and they're kind of all spread out. And then when you see on a map, it's like it used to be like one big temple area.
Yeah.
But then there's like things in between, and like little markets and stuff around.
Yeah.
And like the traditional temples, even though they're very old, are very flashy almost. Like they look kind of newish.
Yeah.
I would say. And then a lot of like the markets and stuff have an older style to them. And it's funny to see that transfer.
Yeah, the contrast. Yeah. The other thing you were kind of talking about was like the packaging of everything. Like I thought Japan, like just thinking about it previously, I thought, oh, they like really considerate about the environment
Yeah.
and like recycling. And I don't know, like in some ways they are, like next to the vending machine downstairs there's like a place where you put all the glass bottles and they go back and they just get refilled.
Yeah.
And there's things like that, but then there's also a lot of products or packaging, like you go to the 7-Eleven and you buy a packet of chips,
Yeah.
and then it's like individually wrapped like 1,000 times. Like there is a lot of plastic use here,
so much, yeah.
which I wasn't really expecting that.
Yeah. Which is funny to me because, like, when I've been to places like Thailand and, like, Cambodia and stuff,
Yeah.
I feel like they have a lot of plastic and single use. And I know Japan's not, like, exactly near them, but I was kind of like, is it going to be like that?
Yeah.
Or is it going to be like somewhere like Singapore that has, like, all of, like, they have like 1 million trees in their like tiny city, like, and no, they're going to plant 1 million more trees in the city, and like everything is very environment based, and they're very much about like the UN SDGs, like the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And like here I was saying to you that I've seen posters about it places, and it looks like it's starting to happen here a bit more, but I think it's hard when you have that amount of population.
I think it's more about, like, people really pride themselves here, it seems like, on, like, cleanliness.
Yeah.
And, like, germs, like, and phobia seems like kind of a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's sanitizer everywhere, and, like, keeping distance from others, and, like, just cleanliness in general.
One thing I wanted to ask you about
Yeah.
is, do you have any New Year's Eve?
New Year's Eve.
New Year's revolutions.
Resolutions.
New Year's resolution.
I like revolutions better.
It's a revolution.
It's a revolution. Kind of, yeah. So, it's kind of very simple. It's just sticking with doing 5 things every day to, like, consistently to try and better myself and to continue on the course of, like, I don't know, it makes me feel like more confident and like I'm achieving my goals more. Yeah, it's very simple. It's just reading every day, so like 10 pages, and then meditating every day for 10 minutes. And then it's like choosing 3 things or 3 tasks for the day that I feel like I need to do to achieve my goals, or that will be helpful in order to achieve it. So like yesterday, it's usually like either making a reel or doing something for the podcast or researching something to do with like psychology, like tasks kind of like that I think that I'm feeling like aligned with for that day.
Yeah. And
just by having like those 5 practices, it makes me feel more confident because I know that I'm like on the path of, I don't know, like just being the person that I want to be, like showing up in the world how I want to. And it's basically, my resolution is just to keep sticking with that and to, just to keep going on with that.
Yeah.
And just developing myself more into the person that like I enjoy, and like not giving myself, not feeling like I'm less than if I don't do it, but also like just knowing that if I do these things, it's when I feel like most, I feel just more confident about myself and that I am moving in the direction that I want to go. And I'm learning, like I want to just keep learning and growing and evolving, and that's the way that I feel like I've found that is successful in making me feel like that.
Yeah.
So if I just keep sticking with that, and also just trying new things, like I've realised that I love doing new stuff, and I love finding out new things that I enjoy, like bouldering, or like I love surfing, but just keep adventuring and keep exploring and keep it like fresh.
Yeah.
And that's why I like to have like the 2 things of like reading and meditating, but then like leaving some room for exploration and like not fully set, because I feel a bit confined and a bit restricted if I just
have the same
thing over and over again.
Yeah. I feel like we're both very much need not that much routine.
Like
if that
diversity?
makes sense. Yeah.
You mean?
I like waking up not having any idea what I'm going to do. Like, the worst thing for me would be to plan, like, to have a plan for my whole week, to schedule hour by hour, minute by minute, what I'm going to do. I feel like that would almost, like, strip my humanity away, in a sense.
Yeah.
Like, I know some people love that and need a routine, and that's awesome that works for them. But I feel like we're similar in the sense of, like, yes, we need some things that are certain, like eating a healthy diet, like having those goals of, like, reading. That doesn't mean that, like, you have to read a certain book or, like, read a certain style.
Yeah,
There's still, like,
there's still
room
flexibility
in that. Or, like, meditation doesn't mean you have to do it at a certain time.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's nice to have those goals where, like, you know that you're slowly building towards a bigger goal. But if we were to schedule and plan and micromanage every step of that, I feel like it would strip the fun away.
Definitely.
In a sense.
Definitely.
Of, like, I know that I want to have my career and what that's going to be. But if someone was to be like, here, let's plan every step together, it would be like,
no.
I'd be like, fuck that.
Yeah. What's, like, your New Year's revolution?
Revolution. Good posture.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And more stretching.
More stretching.
Also, I got this boxing bag off Facebook Marketplace with Joel. And, like, these pink boxing gloves. And I really want to, like, start getting into that a bit more. Like, I always have known that I'm a fighter.
I felt it in my veins.
I felt it in my veins. But, like, a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, like, I love, like, Molly.
She's always like this.
A lot.
Like, she's always, like, asking for a fight.
Yeah. Like, my good friend Molly, like, experiences this a lot of, like, me just coming up to her and being, like, pinning her and what are you gonna do? It's like, again, really? Just funny. But, like, I definitely feel like moving my body in a punching, fighting sort of way feels nice. And it also feels like a bit of, like, feels like surfing. Like, you know that you're, like, not fighting through the waves, but, like, you're getting out there, like, you put up a fight, and then, like, you enjoy, and, like, you're like, la 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 la, on your way back.
On the way back,
Like, same with skiing, like, we just, randomly we saw this, like, mountain, where, like, maybe one person had skied down. I'm like, how do we get to that? And we just, like, followed this path, and we had to basically do a 20-30 minute walk, I would say, like, through the snow in, like, hip depth powder. Hip depth
snow
powder.
up to the hip.
And then we found, like, we got to this awesome hill and had, like, maybe the best run of my life. Like, through powder, just, like, dancing. But, like, having those hard times of, like,
striving towards something.
Fighting
The snow.
and then maybe the rest of my life can be like, la 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 la. If, like, I have that moment.
Definitely. And I feel like you need a bit, like, that's why, like, I sometimes find it really hard to have, like, 5 tasks and be like, okay, you gotta crush it. But once you do, it's like, like,
the rest can be relaxed.
Yeah.
I
think it's worth it. And when we say, like, we, like, found the mountain, like, okay, like, we didn't really find the mountain.
The mountain found us.
It was a chairlift that hadn't been used in the season yet. It was closed to the public, so it's still, like, inbounds in the ski resort. Look at the way you described it. It's like, we looked and we saw a mountain. We pointed and then we
kind of did. We looked and we saw a mountain.
There wasn't, like, a direct route to it because like, the chairlift was closed, so we could, like, see that there was, like, a cat track and, like, a road, and that, like, there seemed like a little bit of a path or something.
We knew that we'd be able to get out of the situation if need be.
We would just
have to go through, like, a mountain of trees.
Yeah.
Through like waste depth powder to get out.
Yeah, which isn't the worst thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was like a little bit risky, but also safe, like a safe risk.
Yeah. It was cool. Like, I also felt like by Tom, our uncle, being on the trip at the start
In
Hackaba, he was very adventurous. Any trees. He was like, yes. But did it in a safe way.
Yeah.
I'll give him that. Like, he did it in a very safe way. He was thought about it mentally. He was like, if it goes down, there might be a river. If we go too high, it might be a cliff. Like, he was thinking about it, but was very adventurous, which I feel like then made us get more of our comfort zones.
Totally. We started scouting the area more.
Yeah. Being like, what would Tom do?
Yeah. Channeling our inner Tom. Yeah. No, that was good. That was a good part. So, what are some things or customs you would like to bring back to Australia from Japan, from this trip?
So, from this trip, I would like to bring back no shoes in the house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And maybe even stopping Cedar, our dog, at the door after his walk and just getting his paws and just wiping them a little bit on the front mat. Yeah. Just because I'm not the most cleanly person, but
you've enjoyed the cleanliness here?
I have enjoyed the cleanliness a lot. And I'm like, there is no dirt on the floor. Like, that's crazy. Especially like, okay, but
that is unheard of.
We walk barefoot a lot at home. Yeah. Like, I would say it's 50% barefoot when we go out. Like, even to the supermarket or whatever.
Yeah.
We walk barefoot. And
it's nice that you have the freedom for that. But it's also like, not doing that here makes you think of like, oh, okay, that's probably not the cleanest way to do it. Yeah. Or it means that more dirt and stuff gets in the house, which creates more work. So we could like stop this at the source of the front door.
Yeah. That like 5 seconds of like wipe or shoes off. Yeah. Then saves like you vacuuming. Yeah. Or like you being like, I have this moment probably every day after I vacuum for like a week and then I vacuum again. It's like, holy shit, my room is dirty. Yeah. The floor is so dirty. My room is gross. Yeah. And then I do that for a week and then I'm like, okay, finally time to clean it. Yeah. But like going back, I'm like into my room, like, oh. Yeah. And then I clean it. And then it's clean for a day. I'm like, oh, la la la. And then it happens again.
I think like it's nice having the indoor slippers. Yeah. I think that's like a very nice, because it's not just like, okay, take your shoes off now, get cold feet. Yeah. It's like you leave your outdoor shoes and then you have like indoor like special slippers. Like it makes it feel like more of a special thing and more of a cozy thing. Like you've returned home. These are like your home base. Yeah. And that you have things like set up for that. Yeah. One
thing that I just thought about was like, I don't think our feet being outside is the dirtiest thing when we come back. I think if we take shoes out, it brings back more dirt in a sense, because like there's dirt in them. Like if we do wear shoes, it's probably because like we're running or like walking through mud. Yeah. Or like there's sand in them from being at the beach, or like
or it's an uncomfortable surface to walk on, or too hot. Yeah. Yeah.
So then, like, I feel like we bring back a lot of dirt with those shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you mentioned that back home you wanted to have, like, healthier not healthier breakfast, but, like, breakfast more like they have here. Yeah. Like, the fermented foods. And we have a lot of sauerkraut and kimchi back home.
We do. I just don't... Like, I don't think of it as, like, an everyday, all-the-time food. I just think of it as, like, a savoury lunch and dinner thing, really. I mean, sometimes I'll have it with my eggs, but here it's really solidified the fact of, like, the things that we think of as breakfast foods at home compared to the things that they think of breakfast foods here. So it's, like, dissolve the layer of what's possible for breakfast, almost. Yeah. Like, they have a lot of... they have a bowl of lettuce with, like, different fermented foods in the morning here. Yeah. And so much more fibre. Yeah. Like, the fibre... and the probiotics and fermented foods really feel like they like get my stomach working in an orderly way, and it feels like breakfast digests so much better because of it.
Yeah.
And I just love that they like have that as an option here, because a lot of the time we've had like buffet breakfasts, so you get to choose anything that you want. And at the start I was like, what, like lettuce and fermented different like pickles and sauerkraut and even like fruit that's been pickled. I was very confused by it, and then now like I love it. Like I really look forward to that because of the way like it makes me feel, and I know that I'm helping my body like straight up in the morning.
And it's nice to do that sort of self-care in the morning, like go have an onsen, clean your whole body, soak, you have a clean body, and then you go have your fermented foods and like a healthy breakfast.
Yeah.
And then you're like, we're ready for the day.
Totally. You feel like you've nourished yourself and like you're respecting your body. You're not just like using it in order to like gain everything without kind of giving it the proper nourishment.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I've really been thinking about in the saunas. I'm like, wow, like I'm really taking care of myself and like honouring my human body a bit more, which feels really good, and it feels like it rewards me because of that. Like I feel like I can have more go and more energy because I've like done the onsens, I've eaten more cleanly, I've like thought about the things that are going into my body and the practices that I'm doing a bit more, because there's like the time and the opportunity kind of handed to you because of it. So I definitely like at the bottom of our hill we've got like the sauna there. I want to like prioritize doing that every day because the onsen has been so amazing. And I think before or after working out, especially, like if you go to the gym and then sauna is like
perfect,
so good, good. And then
go and sit in the spa.
Yeah, and because we've had a routine of that here, it now feels like way more doable and achievable, and we have like evidence to suggest that like it's really helpful for us. Well, I feel like that I have it for me. Yeah.
I also feel like you don't have to go to the gym. I feel like and this might be very controversial, but I feel like right now there's a big like gym culture.
Yeah.
Like nationwide. Like everyone's like gym. And I don't know, I don't think that's a very healthy form of exercise for myself. Maybe it is for other people. I just feel so sad almost being inside working out. Like, I want to do something. Like we have a swimming pool at the bottom of the hill. Like I feel like swimming for me would be a way better form of exercise, or like bouldering, all that. I feel like going to the gym for me just feels very sad.
That's interesting.
I don't know if that is just really disrespectful to other people.
I don't think so. I think that makes a lot of sense, because before like training and stuff at the gym, I felt like that way. Because I felt like, oh, I'm literally just going here as like a mentality of like working out specific muscle groups, and it feels a little bit like unnatural. And it did for the first like week, but then I felt more capable just in life because it's like more resistance training, and a resistance training that's like more targeted it just feels more effective. And it doesn't have to be like a huge thing or like every day doing that, but by having like a routine of resistance training, I felt more capable in life and at bouldering, like still doing those things, still doing like bouldering and surfing, but I felt like my baseline was like elevated because I could target like the smaller muscles and like actually kind of check in with my progress, because you with weights you go up levels, or like repetitions you like slowly build up, and it's actually quite like it actually ended up feeling really good, because like, wow, like I couldn't do a pull-up before and now I can do a pull-up. Like all those little achievements was really helpful. So I think it depends how you view it. Like still doing like surfing and bouldering and having that as like doing the resistance and gym work so you can better perform in surfing and bouldering and daily life and getting upstairs and making sure your body is just active and used in an optimal way for like longevity too.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I think I get where you come from, because I feel like it took me a while to be like, okay, actually I like gym, because at the start I was like, this is the most unnatural thing, we're all just in here like sweating together, like I don't know, like the mirrors, like I don't know, like there was a lot of different parts about it, but the way that I felt through it was like very strong and more confident, because I could like have control over the muscle groups and like my weight and like knowing where I'm at. Like it felt very real in that perspective.
Yeah. So I definitely understand that. But for me, I think I have always had like an unhealthy relationship with it. Like every time that I've tried to get into the gym and I've told myself like I need to go like 3 times a week or something, then I feel like guilty if I don't make that target. And then I feel like you see a lot of like videos like online and stuff, like people going to the gym, this is my gym routine, like I go every day, like look at me, he. And like I feel like for people who then don't like meet those same standards, it can be very like disheartening, and then people can go back to like they're not doing any exercise from that. Whereas like for me, like surfing's something that you can do for free. Like obviously you get like a surfboard and swimsuit, but once you have those things, it's free. Like the waves just occur naturally. Like, or even like you could just go for a body surf kind of thing. Like things that you can do outside, I feel are so much more motivating in a sense for me, because it's like you have no pressure to do it whatsoever. And if you do go do it, then you feel like such a sense of like, woo.
It definitely feels realer, and like you're just living, basically. It's an activity that's living. But I do think that having some form of like resistance, or like for me, when I did do that, like